of my mentors who I've been going to every seminar he puts on, Dr. Jeffrey Bland. He's a biochemist who's internationally recognized as being the lead singer in all of functional medicine. In fact, we can consider him the father of functional medicine. And he was telling us a story on Saturday, which perked up in mind. He says, because I met this young fella who was incredibly bright. Dr. Jeffrey Bland is the brightest man I know. So for him to say that is quite something. He said, this young man, when we first met, was in the doldrums because he had flunked out of high school, was in the army, and didn't know where to go. He had gotten some sort of honorable discharge due to a leg injury, the army came in and had him do the questionnaire to see where his strengths would lie. And in the math section, he absolutely aced it. Got 0 wrong. This is without a formal education. And they said, well, the army personnel came on and said, how did you possibly do that? No one's ever done that in this country, ever. And we've given this test for decades. So, he said, I don't know, I just did it. And so obviously this man had an incredible leaning towards math. Went back, got his PhD in mathematics in a record time of just 6 years. Remember, he hadn't even graduated from high school. And developed a bunch of theorems on how complex things can interact with each other. So this part of calculus has not even been figured out yet, and he's the one that just figured it out all by himself, has written multiple papers on it. In fact, if you're a scientist and you get one of your papers published in Nature, which is a very, very large journal that's very well recognized internationally, you've made it. That's it. You're internationally recognized. You've got your article in there. Just 2 months ago, he had 4 articles in there. Okay, so this young man has been incredible. He's been hired by one of our top pharmaceutical companies, Upjohn. And he was able to figure out how things interact disease-wise. And I'm going to show you, do we have a slide of that coming up? Maybe.
Yes.
Maybe we do, maybe we don't. How everything interacts with each other, and there is no separate thing. For example, your pancreas producing insulin affects things like inflammation in your gut, and your gut affects serotonin levels. This is a new finding. Serotonin levels is a neurotransmitter which affects your moods. Serotonin levels also affects gut contractility, so it might cause irritable bowel syndrome. That irritable bowel syndrome has been linked to osteoporosis. In fact, it can be the cause of osteoporosis, a finding just from a few months ago. Serotonin levels seems to be the trigger for bone building and bone loss, something a year ago we had no idea about. All of that is interconnected. It's not separate issues. It's not just about calcium. See, it can be very complex. And he developed all these things, that how they interact with each other, and was able to predict where things go. So he's been publishing this, and the pharmaceutical CEO started asking himself, well, what does this mean for our one pill, one symptom methodology? It blows it apart. The era of one pill, one symptom is over. It is over. And it no longer works. It is why our healthcare system is in the crisis it is. And it will not be fixed, not even by Obama. Unless we weren't supposed to knock that out. It will not be fixed unless the fundamentals of the way we deliver healthcare system, the way we think about it, gets changed. And that's what we're going to talk about. How can we change it? There's incredible research, incredible minds. But again, why aren't these smart doctors looking at this? The research we heard in the past month and are incorporating as we speak into the practice gets incorporated by not even 1% of doctors out there. What did he say? What was the percentage? It was really low. It was less than 0.something%. So what's going on? And it's very simple. If you don't look for it, you're not going to see it. Here's a guy example. If you buy a red Chevy, small red Chevy, and you go driving down the road, I've seen that red Chevy all over the place. And you didn't even notice any of them before. None. You weren't looking for it. All of a sudden you're seeing it. I know that's a guy example, but there's another one. And I got shown a YouTube video that we're going to show you tonight, but we can't get it up and rolling. But here it goes. There was two basketball teams, and they're passing the ball back and forth. A black t-shirt team and a white t-shirt team. And you have to count how many times it got passed between the white players. Very simple. So there it goes for a minute. They're passing it back and forth, and I'm busy counting. Okay, 13. So tape gets stopped, or I'm a dinosaur. Tape gets stopped. The computer gets stopped, and they said, okay, how many times does it pass? I said, 13. And I was right. But did you see the moon-walking bear in the background? No. Play the DVD again, or play the YouTube again, and right through the middle of the players, this giant bear just moonwalking back and forth, doing all kinds of crazy things. Missed him completely. Totally missed him. And that was such a wake-up call for me, because I was so busy looking for the passes. Didn't even see the bear. The bear was huge. It was a guy with a costume on. So, and really, that's why this type of medicine is not yet fully embraced. We're looking in the back mirror. We're looking backwards at what's worked before. But you know what? Our knowledge is exploding right now. It is absolutely exploding. Every 2 years, medical knowledge, health knowledge is doubling. That's why we're scrambling. That's why, oh, Dr. Dunmore's on vacation again. We're at a seminar trying to keep up with it, all this new stuff. Because from my education 20 years ago, only 6% of it is still applicable and true. Only 6% of it is. If I had just stopped educating myself right then, I truly would be a total dinosaur. The only thing that's remained the same is this muscle, and this thyroid is a thyroid. Yeah? But the function of it has totally changed, and it is absolutely phenomenal, the knowledge that we're accumulating, and also how we have to apply it. So most of medicine here is still applying the old model, looking in the back mirror. But folks, today, let's look forward. Let's start looking forward instead of looking backward, and let's see how we can apply this stuff for your health and also others that you tell them about. So maybe you should try this or try that. So let's roll this thing. Do we have a remote? Okay. Dr. Stacey's going to take over.
Yes. So your book of life. When we sperm and egg join, you get 23 chapters. Dr. Bland has this on his refrigerator to remind him of where he came from. We all giggle at it, but it's so true. This is basically what we all start with. This is what all of our DNA encodes and then wraps around. And this is what we have. So we have the option to make this constantly replicate better or replicate worse. So one of the greatest, I think, quotes that I've ever heard him say is, our gene pool is very unstable. There is no lifeguard. That's so true. There's nobody there to pull us out. So what we look at here is, we're going to talk a lot tonight about how do we keep things healthy? Where are we going forward? How do we get out of this chronic disease that we're going down the road for? He was also talking about that the healthcare bill alone for last year was $2.43 trillion. That's ridiculous. That's a lot of money that we've spent towards healthcare that we could be spending on ourselves for fun and relaxation and food instead of on money to keep ourselves healthy or because we've already gotten in crisis mode. So Dr. Denford and I tonight are going to discuss how do we get out of that? Where do we go? How do we prevent it?